Welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial to teach you how to build a hidden door in Minecraft. This is going to be a specific tutorial that will showcase basically how I built my door in my survival let's play series. And for that all you need to do is take an item out of in order to activate a very simple redstone door that can be easily hidden, and the only requirement is that when you pull the item out, it will flip the door one way or the other. And you can do this using any kind of inventory block. So furnace, dispenser or dropper, chest, shulker box, hopper, and even if you have a music disc, you can even test if there's a music disc in a jukebox or not. So this is a really versatile method. I'm just going to show you the basics of it, and then we'll jump into making one over there ourselves. So how it works is you have your inventory block right here with a comparator facing directly out of that block onto a piece of redstone. That same redstone on the side of the block has a torch that leads to a redstone signal that goes down to a sticky piston with a block on top of it. This is the T flip-flop part of it. If you already know how to make a T flip-flop, this part won't be so bad. All you need to do is take a repeater out of that block and put it straight into a sticky piston, as you can see there. Sticky piston is pointing at another block, which has a torch underneath it. From that block, there's a redstone trail that leads to your pistons, and that's what actually powers them. So how this works is when the redstone detects that there's no longer an item in here, this torch will suddenly light up, and that will extend this piston, giving a very brief pulse to this other piston, which will either push the block forward over the torch or pull the block back away from the torch. If the block is over the torch, power goes to your doors and they close. If the block is pulled away from the torch, then the doors will have power, or the doors will lose power like they have right now, and they will open. So the way this works, if there's an item in here, this torch is turned off. And every time that this torch turns on, in other words, whenever you take the item out, the whole system will swap. So if I take an item out, it closes. If I take an item out, it opens. And that's very basically the simple short version of it. So now we're going to be making our own door right here from this furnace right here. So let's say if we put an item in the furnace, we want our door to open. Well, the first thing we'd have to do, get a comparator, because I messed up my inventory, and actually let me just run over here and snag a little bit of redstone dust. Okay, so first thing we're going to be doing, comparator facing out of the inventory block like this. Repeater directly after the comparator, or alternatively, if you only care about doing one block and you want to save some redstone components, you can just put a piece of redstone dust there with a torch right there. Next, we're going to be moving our redstone down like this, and it's going to be going into a sticky piston with a block on it. Then we're going to be taking a repeater from this block, so as you can see, piston, block, repeater from that block, and we're going to be pulling that over into here. This is going to be where we have our torch, and we're going to put a block in front of the piston. So when the piston is extended, it will go in front of the torch, and when the piston is retracted, it will be away from the torch, as you can see. The next step is to get our redstone. So we place the redstone here, and we need to identify which of these blocks we want to be part of the door. So this block right here we're going to have part of the door, so we're going to put a sticky piston down one block like that. That's what it'll look like when the door is open. And we're going to have these two blocks right here, which means we want them to be originally facing right here, and when the door is extended, they will be pushed out into this space right there. Let me just set it to day real quick so you guys can see a little bit better. So this is what it looks like so far. We've got our sticky piston set up, sticky piston set up. All we need to do from here is move this wire into the sticky pistons that we want to power. So, for example, this one right here, all we need to do is run a repeater there and throw it straight into there. When this is activated, by pulling the item out, that piston will extend. When it's deactivated, the piston will retract. And very simply, we're doing the same thing for these two pistons. Now, when there's two pistons on top of each other, you can save yourself a lot of work because all you need to do is get a single bit of power to this bit right here. So there's a couple ways we can do that. We can either spiral up with redstone like this. It's like there was a bit of a problem. Oh, right. It needs to be pointing into the block, of course. So this is a good example right here. If it's pointing into the pistons, they'll both activate. If it's not, only the bottom one will. Whenever it's triggered, the door closes and or opens depending on which one it's set to, like that. And all you have to do is walk through. Alternatively, if you don't want to spiral up like this, if you don't have a lot of space or something like that, you can also pillar up using torches, and that will work, but you'll have to be careful because if the distance is not the right distance, you'll end up with one of these torches will be turned off, and that will kind of invert the whole thing. So for example, if this torch, it was the one that you had to draw power from, and obviously this torch is powered like this, you would just need to unpower that torch like that. Or that didn't work. Let me put a block up here first. If your output was positive, all you'd have to do is put another torch like that, make it negative. So that should work as well. That's when it's closed. That's when it's open. But obviously we don't have to go to that extent because our power source is turned off. So that works perfectly for us. All we need to do is put a block over the torch, so then the torch provides power to the block will also power this redstone. And that should work. So that's very simply how you get this door to function. Now let's say you wanted to have a pressure plate somewhere around here that would close the door after you. Then it's very simple to do. All you have to do is connect that pressure plate's redstone output over. Right, so all you have to do is lead this power straight over to the same input right here, and that will have the same effect. Now, one thing to note is that means that it won't work if there's nothing in the furnace. So like if this furnace is empty, then it's not going to do any good. So one thing you got to be aware of is your door won't close if your furnace is empty. So as long as there's an item in your furnace, this pressure plate will still function. But if you don't have any items in the furnace, the pressure plate won't function. And yeah, I hope that was helpful, guys. This is just a very basic tutorial on how to create hidden doors using an item with an inventory like this. Remember, this could be anything else. Just replace this furnace with whatever other inventory you wanted to use. So yeah, that's how you do it. It looks very basically like this. If you're curious again, all you have is a T flip-flop coming from comparator, and that goes to your output. So yeah, that's the basic idea of it. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.